Greetings, Grey Witch here. Today we're going to talk about some of the Pegasus vehicles that you can buy and, test them out, see them, which ones are worth the money that you can buy for them. Because, now that we have the import-export DLC, you can really make a big chunk of cash in a short amount of time, relatively short amount of time. So, I always recommend using, Warstock vehicles and buying them. It does make it easier for making money, which, you can buy other cool stuff with, which though is pretty cool. So, here's a few of them. These are all similar. So, the Brickade is the first one I started with. This one is from the Finance and Felony DLC, and it's $1,110,000. And I was kind of disappointed in this. So, it holds 6 people, but it's only 2 people in the inside cab, and the other 4 people are on the outside. And you know, as good as I do, that if you're driving this and you have 4 people on the outside of it, you are going to scrape them off very easy just driving through traffic. You'll scrape them off the first time the cops come by, because that's just the way the cops are. Now, the second vehicle is the Insurgent. Now, this one came from the heist. It costs $675,000, but there are mods you can do with this vehicle, so it will bring it up to about $800,000, maybe a little bit more, depending on what mods you use. And this is a vehicle that you can store in your garage. So that is a big plus with that. And this vehicle holds 6 people, 4 inside and 2 on the outside. So it's not as bad, but those 2 people on the outside are still going to get scraped off. And the last vehicle we have here is the Phantom Wedge. Now this is the newest one. It came with the import-export DLC, and this one's $1,920,000 after you do the mission to unlock the lower price. So you have to actually do the mission to do this. But this one unlocks the mission, which, is the Plowed VIP mission. And it's pretty cool. It pays out $20,000. So if you do it 68 times, it pays for itself. So that's kind of cool. So, I guess it could pay for itself eventually. Now, the Brickade, in open lobbies, 1 rocket, it's done. That's it. It's finished. It has relatively decent bulletproofness. Let's just say it's bullet resistant. The Insurgent, much stronger. Can take a lot more. So, 4 rockets to destroy the Insurgent. It's a little bit more armored for bullets, but not as good as, the Karuma. And finally, we have the Phantom Wedge, and sadly, this one just takes 1 rocket, and it's, it's toast. So, it's one of those vehicles, it takes damage relatively easy in open lobbies. When you're using them in missions, they're a lot stronger, with the exception of the Insurgent, but the Phantom Wedge does get pretty beat up pretty quick. Now, just taking this vehicle out and just driving it into as much as I could just to see how long it takes to fail. The Brickade actually lasts a pretty good amount of time. Just head-on collisions, just continuously banging into stuff. And if you notice, when I started doing this, I started hitting bigger and bigger vehicles and climbing on an incline, so it didn't really slow it down too much. So this vehicle actually is, pretty decent. I'm pushing right through all these bigger trucks, and it doesn't seem to really be a problem, because if I can't go through it, it's kind of like it just goes over it. And the really only thing that could really stop it is like the real big 18-wheelers, if it just got really bunched up. So this vehicle is actually pretty decent for what it is. It's just too bad it only holds 2 people, because right now those other guys would be scraped off. Now with the Insurgent, this vehicle is, compared to the other 2, is almost indestructible. I drove this loop all the way around the map twice, and it didn't even make the thing smoking. Just running into everything, flipping it, just seeing how long it took to fail. And the Insurgent actually lasted the longest, and it, longer by a long time. It just can take the constant abuse that you're beating at. The only thing is once it gets into a section where, there's a lot of vehicles, it gets muddied down real quick. So without having the armor to protect you, you could get killed in it relatively quick. Rocket's not so fast, but about 25 seconds with the minigun will take you out and blow this thing up. So you really want something that's going to get ripped through the traffic really quick. This will do it, but it's going to muscle its way through it, and you might not, survive it. Just, one of those things. Now, this vehicle really surprised me. This is the Phantom Wedge, and it's just, the speed for it is ridiculous, because it's faster than any 18-wheeler that's in the game. And cutting through traffic, that blade on the front, it just, there's no Nothing that can, stand for it. It's just knocks it completely out of the way. Hitting motorcycles with it is the best thing in the world. I would own it just to do that. But the one bad thing about this is it starts, in open lobbies, it starts taking damage fast. So once you start getting through to where you're hitting these cars pretty quick, it's not going to be long before it's smoking and, it just gives up the ghost. I mean, but anything that it hits, it's knocking out of the way. But the bad thing is, if it does get stuck somewhere or wedged in by the nose, it'll destroy the vehicle really fast. I've had it happen a few times, and the steering on this one is really not that easy to steer. And you can see right here, once it gets to its point, that's it. The engines start cutting off, and then you got a couple seconds to get out of it before it blows up. I jumped out of here and became one with the Matrix, which is pretty awesome. But that's it. So I hope this helps you out, and I hope it makes you help make your decisions. All of these are great vehicles, and hopefully you make a choice. All right, it's a great way to see you next time. Peace.